that I have been informed by 16 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly of their decision to leave the People's Democratic Party and move to the All Progressive Congress. All 16 members, including the Speaker, have so decided to leave the People's Democratic Party for the All Progressive Congress.
It's unfortunate. I have always said that when everybody has the right to make a choice, the party is fully factionalized, and the requirement of the Constitution says that when the faction is factionalized, they are bound to leave the party. I'm still in PDP. You see that not everybody that has left. I believe 16 or 17 of them have left out of 27. We still have a quite good number, about 10, and we continue to work together. They never told me, but they have a right. So those who remained will continue to work together. And that's what I've said to the party: put your house in order. If at the end of the day, if you don't put your house in order, it's the party that is losing.
Upon the termination of emergency rule by the President, this House by resolution once again reminded the Governor to heed to the call and do the needful. When in December, the Governor has not considered his Executive Council the way he should. And this is truly in contravention of the 1999 Constitution as amended. Public schools in Rivers State, particularly at the primary and secondary level, are generally in a deplorable condition.
Rivers State is at war again, a political war. A fresh storm this time, slipping into a political darkness no one expected this early. The crisis that everyone thought had ended has returned with vengeance. The truce that Abuja forced on Rivers has collapsed like a weak bridge in a rising flood. And now, Governor Sim Fubara is surrounded. A new war has erupted on all fronts. The Assembly is back in full confrontation. Fresh investigations, fresh accusations, fresh legislative traps, turning the House into an opposition battlefield for Fubara. The same Assembly is accusing Fubara of allowing rot in public schools, over 600 billion naira in savings. They are questioning his delay in presenting commissioners. They are preparing new motions, new probes, new political weapons. And in the middle of this burning storm stands Fubara, a governor whose enemies are manipulating, whose allies are disappearing, whose party is collapsing around him, and whose future may be pushed into a direction he never planned. This is not just another Rivers crisis. This is a political siege, a coordinated tightening of the walls around Government House, a quiet but deadly political war that may force Rivers State Governor Sim Fubara into one of the biggest realignments in the history of Rivers politics. The signs are there, the tension is real, and the doom is rising. This is the new battle, this is the new crisis, and this is the new dangerous war closing in on Governor Fubara. For months, Rivers State was operating under what many describe as an artificial peace, a truce negotiated in Abuja, endorsed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, signed reluctantly by both camps, and celebrated as a temporary bridge over a boiling river. But the truth, that peace was never real. It was a bandage on a deep political wound. The moment institutions were restored after the emergency suspension, the Assembly came back and the executive fully resumed and party structures became active again. The cracks widened and they widened fast. The first sign of trouble, the tune of the lawmakers, was started as a subtle warning, quickly transformed into political confrontation. The Assembly began raising its voice again. Suspended hostilities returned like fuel catching fire. Then the bombshell headlines: Rivers crisis, Governor Fubara, lawmakers at fresh loggerheads, details emerge. Fresh loggerheads, fresh accusations, fresh tension. What were they fighting about? Budgetary disagreement, administrative delays, political appointments, and the deeper, unspoken battle, loyalty and control. The Rivers Assembly still carries a strong influence from political forces aligned with former Governor Wike. Fubara's camp believes the Assembly is being used to undermine his authority. The Assembly believes Fubara is step-siding the peace terms. Everything escalated. Everything became political. Everything became confrontational. And just like that, Rivers State returned to its default state, the crisis mode. Because in Rivers State politics, peace is never permanent. Power is the only guarantee. The next headline hits like a hammer. Rivers boil again as lawmakers slam Fubara over rots in schools. Despite 600 billion naira savings, this was not a small accusation. This was not a casual complaint. This was a strategic ambush. The lawmakers didn't complain. They presented evidence. Videos emerged. Images document reports. Classrooms are with broken roofs. Children learning in damaged structures. Schools without chairs, desk, or functional facilities. A terrible reality used as political ammunition. Then came the bigger attack. Why is there rot in schools when the state reportedly has a 600 billion naira in savings? Was it true? Was the figure inflated? Was it a political calculation? Whichever it was, the Assembly used it to shape a narrative. Fubara is not fixing the basics. Fubara is mismanaging priorities, and Fubara is playing politics with infrastructure. It became a public debate. Radio stations picked it up. Civil society groups reacted. Opposition voices amplified it. Even PDP members whispered it behind closed doors. And in the background, APC strategists smiled. Because the more divided the PDP becomes in Rivers, the easier it gets to take over the state in 2027. The school saga wasn't just about education, it was about legitimacy. In politics, you don't attack a man's money first. You attack his performance, his competence, his leadership. The Assembly understood this perfectly. They used the narrative of children suffering as a devastating emotional weapon, and for the first time since the restored peace, Governor Fubara felt cornered. Because infrastructure failure can be explained from failing school children, that is politically unforgivable. As soon as the school saga peaked, Rivers State woke up to another headline. Fresh crisis looms as Assembly questioned Fubara's delay in presenting commissioners. And just like that, another institutional bomb exploded. Why is the commissioners list important? Because commissioners are the lifeblood of the states. They supervise ministries, they sign contracts, they oversee budgets, they execute government policies, and they give life to an administration. Without commissioners, governance becomes slow, projects get delayed, funds wait for approval, and the Assembly becomes angry, very angry. The lawmakers insisted, submit the commissioners list, stop delaying governance, stop violating established procedures. But Fubara refused to be rushed. Why? Because the commissioners list is more dangerous than it looks. Once he submits names, does he nominate people loyal to him or those aligned with Wike? Does he choose natural technocrats and upset both sides, or does he deliberately delay to weaken the Assembly's influence? This was not an administrative delay. It was a political chessboard. Every name on that list determines loyalty. Every portfolio determines power. Every commissioner becomes a potential weapon in the 2027 elections. The Assembly understands this. Fubara understands this. The PDP leadership as well understands this. Even the APC in Rivers State understands this. That is why the delay turned into a legislative threat. The Rivers Assembly warned this delay will affect the budget cycle. The governor is putting the states at risk. Once again, political tension replaced governance. Once again, River states began drifting back towards institutional war. And this time, the crisis was no longer about public schools or old agreement. It was about who controls the government going forward. Because whoever controls River States after the 2027 election controls one of Nigeria's most strategic political and economic states. Then came the earthquake that shook Nigerian politics. Rivers, 15 PDP lawmakers. Speaker defect to APC amidst deepening crisis. 15 lawmakers, including the Speaker himself, crossing from PDP to APC in one move. This was not a defection. This was a political declaration of war. Why did they defect? The statements were clear. Rivers PDP is in disarray. Fubara has lost internal control. The crisis has made governance impossible. APC is the new home for stability. The PDP's internal Cold War made the assembly uncomfortable, but the truth behind the scenes more complicated. These lawmakers were part of the long-standing political structure built under Wike, a structure Fubara increasingly distanced himself from. When they defected, they achieved three things. 1. They weakened the PDP in River States. The party lost its legislative backbone. 2. They strengthened APC's presence. Rivers Assembly is now heavily tilted towards the ruling National Party, the APC. 3. They isolated Fubara. He is now a PDP governor with an assembly controlled by APC. That is a political suffocation. The APC, at the national level, immediately recognized the opportunity. The party has won. The party now has the federal government, majority in the assembly, a growing Rivers political network, and an isolated PDP governor trapped between feuding factions. To make matters worse, this defection changed the 2027 calculation completely. Rivers is no longer a PDP stronghold. It is officially a battleground state, and Fubara is no longer just fighting internally. He is now surrounded on all sides by the assembly, by defectors, by PDP factions, and by APC's strategic ambitions. But the biggest twist is yet to come, because once the lawmakers defected, everyone began asking the same question: where does this leave Governor Sim Fubara? This is where the story becomes the most important, the most sensitive, the most political. There is a prediction rising across Rivers' political circle, a prediction whispered in Abuja, a prediction debated inside the PDP, a prediction quietly analyzed by APC strategists. Governor Fubara may eventually dump the PDP and move to the APC. Is it guaranteed? No. But is it possible? Absolutely yes. Is it politically logical? More than ever. Let's break it down. 1. Fubara is isolated in the PDP. The party structure in River State still leans heavily towards Wike. Many PDP elders see the crisis as an internal rebellion. The defection of 15 lawmakers mean the PDP legislative wing is collapsing, and Fubara is standing alone, and politicians hate being alone. 2. The assembly is now controlled by APC. This means budgets, appointments, bills, confirmations, oversights all must pass through an assembly that is no longer loyal to him. If this crisis continues, APC lawmakers can use legislative pressures to force Fubara towards negotiation or political alignment. 3. The APC needs River States in 2027. The party wants a Niger Delta advantage, more oil states control, a strategic southern base, a way to weaken PDP before 2027. Supporting Fubara or absolving him is a win-win for the APC. Number 4. PDP has no structure to defend Fubara anymore. 15 lawmakers gone, internal fights everywhere. The party's national leadership is distracted with internal rebuilding. The PDP cannot protect Fubara anymore. Number 5. Fubara's political survival may require a new platform. If he remains in the PDP, he will face assembly opposition, internal sabotage, budget delays, power bloc isolation. But if he joins APC, he gains assembly cooperation, federal backing, a stable 2027 platform, protection from PDP factions, a strong chance to finish his projects. And number 6, APC elders are already making moves behind the scenes. From Abuja to Rivers States, APC stakeholders see Fubara as an opportunity. They know he is vulnerable. They know the PDP is breaking apart. They know the assembly crisis weakens him. Political calculations are shifting. Fubara to APC is no longer a rumor. It is a realistic political outcome. If this happens, Rivers State will witness a collapse of PDP, APC dominance, a new political alignment in the Niger Delta, a new balance of power between Abuja and Port Harcourt, and a completely reshaped governance race. Fubara's move would destroy old alliance, create new enemies, but guarantee survival. Because in politics, survival is the first rule. Everything else is optional. Rivers State stands at a dangerous crossroads. A governor facing isolation, a legislature shifting alliance, a party losing its grip, and an opposition growing stronger every minute. The crisis is no longer about schools, commissioners or servants. It is about political survival. So, the biggest question now is simple. Does Governor Fubara fight alone, or does he switch camp before the system swallows him? Time will tell. But the political smoke rising from Port Harcourt tells one thing. This fight is far from over, and Rivers State is entering its most explosive political season since 1999.